Hey guys, it's Mrpolicegaming playing Gratuitous Space Battles, which at the moment, if you act quickly, is free on Steam, and if you download it for free, you can also download it and all of the DLC, maybe not all of the DLC, 6 of the DLC, for $4.74. So it's free to play for the weekend, which is already, by the time you watch this, probably halfway over. But if you buy it during this period, it's $4.74, which, you know, if I can buy a game for under $5, I'm all for it. So Gratuitous Space Battles is you set up your team of spaceships. You're a spaceship commander. These are the same people that bought you Gratuitous Tank Battles, if you've played that. So you set up your ships. You can fully customize them, create different classes of ships. You can see here I've got fighters, frigates and cruisers, and just in the bottom left I've been going through the equipment that I've put on them. Now I've played the tutorial and then gone straight into this, so I've just banged 3 ships together. The fighters, which you can see, they're the small squadrons. They're kamikazes, they're decked out in no armor with missile launchers. The rogue, which I probably should have called the mage, they're these two big ships at the back here, and they just launch plasma missiles at everything. And the smaller ones at the front, they're called the tank, and they're heavily shielded, not heavily armored, which is probably a mistake now that I think about it. And they're supposed to take the brunt of the damage, while the rogues are supposed to kill everything. Now, just fair warning straight up, this game does offer a lot of strategy. You can give your ships orders before the battle. For example, you can order the fighters to stay with the cruisers, or you can put a priority list of which enemy class ships who should be attacking. Now I haven't done this, and that's why you see my fighters are flying pretty much all over the place fighting other fighters at the moment. And you'll see in the future they'll all fly off and start attacking a big ship that they have no hope of killing, and that's my fault because I didn't delve deep enough into the priority listing and the orders listing. What I should have done is I should have stuck my fighters with some of my ships and then moved forward. That way we might have had some more excess. Did I say excess? I meant success. So as you can see, the first ship's already gone down. Well, the first ship's probably gone down a long time ago. You can see here there's lots of different, all the ships, you know, have different names. Again, you can set that yourself. I didn't set it. Yeah, you can see the broken ship there, floating apart, all the debris. If you look at the top of your screen, just above the Admit Defeat button, your pilots are constantly giving you an update of how the battle's going. Sometimes that update's humorous, other times it's not. So you see, you know, our shields are down. If someone could take out that swine shooting at us, now would be a good time. Also, what I've noticed with this is, even though it's not a very graphics intensive game, when there's a lot going on the screen, it was giving me some system lag, which, I don't know, it seems to be kind of a thing that's happening with your smaller games these days. They don't seem to be very well optimized. Another one that springs to mind is Dungeon Defenders. You know, even though it's got a very simple style, you get a lot of stuff happening on the screen and the computer would start running like crap. Now I don't have the best computer in the world, but I also don't have the worst computer in the world, so... And then again, it could just be the heat. It's 30 degrees today and my computer does not deal with heat well. Back to this game, as you can see in the left and right, you've got percentage meters. That tells you how the battle's going. So I've got 86% of my forces left, he has 78% of his forces left. And you can see the numbers underneath that. He started with 9,000, I started with 5,000, so I really haven't optimized my ships very well. I've made them very expensive. They require a lot of pilots, and when you're putting your team together at the start of each battle, you do have a limit on how much money you can use and how many pilots you can deploy. So it's definitely important that you get in with the ship customizer and you customize some things. You give yourself some cheap but reliable ships. You give yourself some you know, powerhouses. You've got to do all these sorts of things. So you can't really jump in the game like I've done, bang a few ships out and expect much good to happen. So you can see I'm down to my last 2 ships. I still have some fighter squadrons. You can see them all flying around. The tutorial screen pops up here. Close it out of that. No tutorial, thanks. So I've got 2 big ships left. They've got the plasma cannons and the fast missile launchers. Now, spoiler alert, I didn't think of something when I was making these ships, and it does prove to be significantly difficult. As you can see, when these ships get something in their range, you can see the little armor. See, so ships can have three types of health. First, you start off with shields that you got to get through. Then you get armor that you got to get through, and then finally you have the ship's HP. And you can see every time it hits, we're already through shield and armor here, so we're down to health. And you can see when these 2 ships, the rogues, when they target something, you know, they throw a lot of firepower at it very quickly, and that's what I designed them to do. But they have problems dealing with smaller ships. For instance, having plasma cannons and missile launchers, if they get fighters flying around them, they have an extremely difficult time to deal with those fighters, because the plasma cannons, they're fairly accurate, but they're slow. The rocket launchers, they're inaccurate and fast. So neither of those are really good for dealing with small fighters. And you can see the difference in the size. You know, these little things flying around, they're the fighters there. And you can see now, I've still got my fighters fighting this big ship here, but they're not really doing anything at this stage. And then you can see that there's a couple of fighters fighting my big ships. Now, you can, at the start of a battle, tick the box that says to take direct control, but if you do that, I can't remember exactly what it says, but it says that your score won't be counted and all these things. So the game obviously isn't designed for you to take direct control, and if you do, it almost punishes you. So these here, they really, my 2 ships, if I had to set them right, A, I would have put some sort of defense turrets on them, and B, I would have set their orders to ignore fighters, and this would have allowed them to keep fighting the larger ships. But I didn't, so now you can see them shooting back and forth. Almost looks like they're shooting at each other, and they're just not hitting anything. And you see, what I should have done is, because I have the fighters still alive, at the start of the battle I should have set these fighters to attack the same targets that my rogues were fighting, because then, as you can see, they've changed their attention. They're now fighting these fighters. My guys would have come along with their rockets, and hopefully they would have been able to clean house. And you see one of the pop-ups is no effect. That one you don't really want to see, because it means you're not doing anything. You can see there's not a lot happening on the screen here, but because I'm panning the mouse around, panning the screen around, it's running really slow. Now, that shouldn't be happening on my computer. As I said, it's not the best computer in the world, but I can play far more graphic intensive games on high. So it seems to me that this game hasn't been optimized properly, but because I'm not really a tech guy, I can't say that with any definitive certainty. That's just my opinion that's based in nothing. So if you want to listen to it, listen to it. If you don't, that's fair enough. So you see my 2 ships have now kind of crashed into each other. I assume one's flying above the other because they're not having tremendous amounts of damage done to them right now. Yes, having your ships on top of each other, flying around in a circle, probably not the best thing that could be happening. And then you've still got the fighters down in the bottom right hand corner doing nothing. And even though I'm at 65% and he's at 40%, he could be on 1% right now, and that fighter would eventually take out my cruisers. There's nothing I can do about it. I killed one, but I'm not going to be able to kill two. Now, when I was playing, I realised in the bottom left-hand corner there is a speed up function. It would have been nice to have realised that while this was going on, but my apologies, I did not. Pretty much what we're waiting for at this stage is we're waiting for the last of my fighters to be killed, because when the last of my fighters are killed, they'll be able to... those ships down in the bottom corner will be able to attack my cruisers, and hopefully we'll get a resolution then. Something to mention, in case you're wondering why that ship up in the top right hand corner is just sitting there. When it seems like when damage is being calculated, you can actually hit specific parts on the ship. So if you were to damage a ship's weapons to the point where they have no weapons left, and a ship can have, you know, as little as 1 to as many as 7 weapon slots I've seen so far. I'm sure there's more I haven't seen, because this is just vanilla, there's no DLC yet, which I'm downloading at the moment. But if you manage to neutralise all of a ship's weapons, then they can't fight anymore, so they try and retreat. There is an option in the orders bar to tell them to stand and fight, I guess, you know, to soak up damage, but that seems rather harsh. There you go, all it took was one missile to take that guy out. And as you can see, my fighters have been dealt with, so now we're getting slow moving missiles attacking my cruisers. Now I equipped my frigates with lasers to shoot down slow moving missiles, but I didn't realise there was such a huge size difference between the rogue and the tank, because the tank was very, very small and it died very, very quickly, so all of my anti-fighter, anti-missile equipment was taken out relatively quickly. So we live and learn. Having them specialise like I'm playing World of Warcraft may not be the correct option, but we'll try again. The goal of this was, you know, I got to go to work, do the night shift. Yay, 11 PM to 7. Worst shift ever. Really boring. I'm probably going to watch The Man with the Iron Fists. But yeah, the goal of this was just to get a video up there quickly, because I didn't check my Steam, and I love playing free games, and when those games are 75% off to buy, they have to be pretty bad for me not to buy them. And even though I lost this, I enjoyed it. I think the premise is pretty cool, you know, making your own ships and then having, you know, big wars. I was almost going to say it's kind of like FTL, and then I realised the only thing similar about this and FTL is that they're both spaceships, and I would hate to sound like that guy, so I'm not going to say that. But it's fun, and FTL's fun, so in that sense they are kind of similar. They're both fun. Alright, so that's one cruiser down. Okay. This is soon coming to a quick end, and watching it again I'm starting to tear up, get a little emotional about all the men that died because of my poor leadership. So thanks for watching. Make sure you check out some of my other links. I've noticed on Reddit a lot of people, I don't know, it seems like 1 million people are just buying PCs for the first time. So if you're looking for a fun game to play with your friends, I'm also doing a Borderlands playthrough. Borderlands, I think, is only like $12 on Steam. So if you want to have a look at that, I've got a playthrough of that going. I've got some WWE Universe stuff going from a while back. I've got some Xcom stuff going from a while back. So just have a link around. And also, as you probably saw at the start, I'm part of Zooming Games now. So check out the Zooming Game guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.